Earth Radio. And now here's human music.
G'day YouTube, what up? Guys, today is such a cracking day outside, and instead of playing outdoors, I'm going to make a YouTube video showing you guys how they'll actually chuck on like a little windsock on top of your camera. Trust me, this works really well. I actually have it here on my Canon G7X, and I'm going to chuck it onto my Sony, because seriously, when you go out in the wind and you don't have this, it is horrible. So this is the kind of stuff we're going to chuck on there. It's like this kind of fluff like this, and it sits on top of the camera and it cuts out the wind noise, and it works seriously amazingly. Welcome to my little workstation. Guys, so this is the Sony here. It's the Sony RX 100 Mark V. This is my latest addition to my travel kit. This thing is absolute gold, guys. So the mics, they're placed here and here. So I tried a whole heap of different techniques to actually make this happen, and a lot of them were failures. Some of them worked okay, but were not the best option. So I kind of feel like I've done all the hard yards for you guys, and I feel like what I'm about to go through right now is the best option. The option that works the nicest, the option that looks the best on the camera. To actually do it with just two little windsocks on each mic is, I've looked into it, it is absolutely ridiculously hard, because you've only got a couple millimeters on each side of the mic here to actually do that. What I've found is that I'm not really going to use the flash. I'm not a flash person. I do everything with just adjusting the light sensors inside the camera, the ISO and all that stuff. I don't do a whole heap of night photography. So I think I can do without the flash. The viewfinder, I don't know, I don't use the viewfinder a whole lot, but I think I'd like to still keep the viewfinder just in case I want to use it, which means now I can actually add my windsock over the top of the flash, which is going to make it a lot easier. I don't have to cut out two tiny little things and only have a millimeter of stickiness on each side to actually put it on. That's one thing you guys need to work out. Are you actually going to use your flash? If you're going to use your flash, then you're going to have to find a way around that, and you can probably use this method that I'm doing here right now and just adjust it slightly. So what bits and pieces do you need? We've got fur, skizzers, tape, soldering iron. I think that's all we need, guys, and a brain and a smile. This is the first thing here. You need some fluff, pre-cut fluff, fur, teddy fur. I went down to a place called Spotlight and picked this up. You can probably get it from a whole heap of different places. In Australia, there's a place called Lincraft. You could even just go get a jacket that has like a furry neck on it and just cut a piece off. What you need to work out is that you don't want to have the inside layer of the fur. So that's the furry part that's going to stop all of our wind. This here, you don't want that to be too thick, like thickness this way, and too dense where the actual audio can't actually get through. So be mindful of that when you're actually looking for the right fur. If you can't actually see the base because there's too much fur, then that's actually a good thing. You want to get some double-sided tape. You're gonna need some scissors, a soldering iron. If you don't have one of these, you're gonna be using scissors. But if you do have one of these, this is where you're gonna melt a hole through your sticky tape to actually allow the area where the mic is going to go straight through. Alrighty, so this is our Sony RX 100. This is the camera that we're going to be doing it with. You could do it with any camera. These are our two mics here. So see what I was saying, how there's not much space between the viewfinder and the flash. So I'm just going to make the flash redundant on here, and then what I'm going to do is make some tape, and it's going to go around here, and then our fluff is going to sit on top. The tape I'm going to use is this Scotch tape here. It's a black and it's a little bit thinner, you can see here. This is the original one that I tried out here. It's Scotch tape as well, it's clear, but it's a touch thicker, the tape itself, and it's heaps rubbery, and I found out the rubberiness of it wasn't actually working that well. And as soon as you actually touch this tape on the inside, it kind of destroyed all the stickiness on it. Now we don't need to cover up this whole area here, and you need to make room for the shutter button as well. So what I'm thinking is that maybe just halfway is going to be enough. Alright, so you got your tape cut out, and that was pretty much the easiest part of it. So I've just put the tape over here and stuck it to the edge of the table, because what you don't want to do is be touching the end of the sticky stuff too much, because then you're going to actually lose that stickiness. Try and get like a skewer or your scissors and poke a hole where the mic is actually going to sit. What happens when you punch a hole through this tape here is that it kind of pushes a hole through, and at the ends it kind of sticks out there a little bit. So when you push it straight back down again onto the camera, all that bit that came out kind of comes back in and blocks up the microphone. You can try and use a Stanley knife and try and cut out a little square in there. That's probably a nice option as well, but the thing that's tough about that is that you don't want to lose that stickiness on the inside, so you need to stick it to something like a mirror or something like that that won't take off too much of the stickiness. I totally recommend using a soldering iron. Let's give the soldering. I've given the soldering iron a go one time and it seemed like it works, so let's give it another go. I feel like that is the best way because it kind of melts away that hole in there and you're not touching the double-sided tape as much. It's such a neater, simpler option. Alright, so we have the double-sided tape on the camera now with the holes where the mics are going to be sitting. Now, the best bet is to cut out a template. I just ripped off a little bit of paper here. This is to ensure that when you get this fluff here, that you actually cut it the right size, so that it's actually going to fit. Huge tip, wash your hands because you got a little bit of fluff all over your fingers and that's going to touch that stickiness on top and it's just going to like make that top tape not sticky enough to hold on that windsock that we need. Alright, so you're going to want to push down on that pretty firmly all over to make sure that grips to that double-sided tape really well. And there you have it. You have your windsock on top of your camera and it actually looks pretty cool. It's like a little haircut on top of your camera. I love it. So when you actually lift up the back screen for the selfie mode, you're going to see that the windsock kind of covers a little bit of the screen. So what I do with mine is that if I'm, for instance, indoors doing a video, you can actually just like push this hair back down and give it a little bit of a comb over like this, and it minimizes the height of the windsock, but it still actually works really well. And it's still going to work well outside like that as well because there's so much coverage on there. And now you actually have more room to actually see yourself in selfie mode, which I know you guys love. Yeah, so if you're actually doing vlogs outside or doing any kind of video outside, this actually works really, really well. It works, like seriously, it works so well. So I just leave mine on there all the time. I know some people do it with Velcro, so they can kind of take it on and off. I found the Velcro, since it kind of joins like this, there's little bits of gaps in there for the wind actually gets through. That's why I actually use the double-sided tape, because it kind of seals off that whole area inside, and then the mics just go straight up into the windsock. So that's why this method works really well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, feel free to subscribe. Click that subscribe button. Give the video a thumbs up. Have the most amazing day wherever you are. Go check me out on Instagram as well. Peace out.